And Mike, obviously some producers have lost a little bit of faith in the department itself in the last few years, budget-wise, leadership-wise. What can you tell our listeners at home to ensure them that you are here, you are a leader that's going to step up, make the right decisions, get the right people on the bus to make Montana Livestock's Department of Livestock the best that it can be?
Well, as I said, I think it needs to be open engagement with the industry. So, the first thing that I would commit to those people being served by the department, by the livestock industry across the state, is I like to approach my work with a positive attitude. I like to think of myself as approachable, someone who can be reached and is willing to have those conversations. I know since the first public interview I did for this job, I've had the opportunity to talk to several industry leaders around the state. And I shared with each one of them that the conversation we were having at that time is one of the things that I would want to promise them in this role as the executive officer, that when they have information, when they have problems, when they have things they want to talk about, that there's someone who is open to that conversation and willing to listen and is really intent on building a relationship with the industry leaders around the state, both the staff within industry organizations and the member leaders and the producers themselves, and wants to have that relationship. So that's the first thing. I mean, that's the first way in my opinion, you build trust is by putting in place a process for that open and honest, transparent communication. So that you can get the feedback and you can act on it. And you have to be willing to accept that feedback, especially when it's negative. And so once again, that's something in these coming weeks as I get started on the job. I'm hoping to reach out to those industry leaders and begin to introduce myself and have those conversations with them, ask a lot of questions, and hear what they have to say about the department. And then take that information, that feedback to heart, and begin to go to work on that. I think that's the only way you're going to build trust is by having those open lines of communication. And then people, the trust won't come until people actually see you act on that feedback. And that's what I would promise is that we want to hear that feedback, and we're intent upon acting on it and doing what we can to improve that situation. As far as the budget and those things, I think from my standpoint as the leader of that department, it's just very clear to know the law, to know the regulations, to know the administrative rules, and make sure that everything that happens within that department is above board and happening within the confines of those codes and rules that have been set forth for the operation of the department.
Again, thanks, Mike, for joining us here today. Again, Mike Honeycutt, the new executive officer of the Montana Department of Livestock. Reporting for the Northern Ag Network, I'm Lane Nordlund.